Hi, Tasha. How are you? Congratulations on I saw the rings. Very nice. Congratulations on all of that again. Well, it's a gloomy, cold-ish, rainy day here today in Minnesota. And I'm hoping I can get one project finished. Our little cat is a mental case. He just ran one end of the house to the other. um, they are the best. They keep you guessing. I'm going to um, get a little more coffee. And I'm thinking, I'm trying to think, I was thinking of how I would design your wedding invitation. If you wanted, if you were looking to hire an invitation designer, um, it's, I was just trying to think how that would work. I mean, what elements I would pull together. It's interesting little. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm just it's curious. One of my favorite stories of um, a person who got married was there was a guy that was really interested in this woman, and they were, I think, in high school or shortly after high school. Anyway, the guy would call up the girl's house and ask to speak to Sally. I'll just call her Sally. And Sally didn't want to have anything to do with this guy, just didn't like him at all. But Sally's younger sister, of a couple of years younger, let's call her Jane. Jane sort of felt sorry for this guy, so she would talk to him on the phone and, you know, pretend that her sister was busy or something. And eventually, the younger sister and the guy got married because the relationship developed, even though um, it was just sort of fun. And I thought the idea of a telephone as being an important part of the um invitation would be kind of fun because it was such an important part of the history of the relationship, I guess, was this telephone. Um, and this was long before the internet and things like that, were sort of long distance relationships happen more often um, these days, but this was before the home computer. The fiance to Burger King for internet and college classes. Oh, I see. Okay. Because of the the free Wi-Fi. Anyway, let me get more coffee in me. I'm back. Hey, Schiavello. How are you feeling? Well, I'm okay. I'm sorry you're unwell. Um, I'm having my morning coffee here and trying to kind of wake up, I guess. It's a rainy day. One of the things about this house that um, is really nice is the ceiling, the roof and the ceiling are one and the same. And when it rains, you can hear the raindrops on the roof, which is a very nice sound. And in the basement where I grew up, um, those sounds were not really heard. So now that I'm sleeping up here, I'm missing them. I mean, I realized I missed them, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. It's really quite lovely. I'm listening to the cat play on the plastic you have this sort of plastic tarp covering the stairway so that the fumes of mold and stuff just. Oh my god! You just catch a mouse. She caught a fish. It's the fish she plays with. He plays with. Oh my god! Kitty, get it! Get it, kitty! Where are you? Kitty, get it! No. You gonna get the fish? Get the fish! Get it! Get it! Get it! Get it! Get it! Did it hit you in the nose? I guess he must have. Oh, it's the dumbest kitty. The cat just walks and falls over. It doesn't, sit down and then sort of stretch and then it just walks, thump. None of that middleman stuff for you. You just want to flump. So, Schiavello, are you getting the vaccine? you first in line, or how's Australia land doing with that vaccine stuff? Oh, kitty, kitty. Oh, kitty. Oh. Kitty. What? Get it. It's chasing the fish around again. Oh. Kitty. Oh, you dumb kitty. You dumb kitty. Hi there, Melissa. How are you? I don't know if you saw last night I was talking with Todd Merrill. I can't remember who was in the room and who wasn't, but his handwriting is very interesting. I think it's. I think of it as more horizontal than vertical, and there's always or quite often there's a flourish. And sometimes if he's just writing a word rather than sentences, he'll just flourish every single goddamn word, which is kind of fun. But it's like that Sousa parade with the cymbals, except rather than just cymbals, it's the big bass drum and the cymbals together. Yeah, you have to go. It took a long time for the thing to start to work because we were having echo problems and camera problems and stuff. So go to about 15 minutes in, and he talks about his interest in pens, and we talked about ads and graphic design and things. It sort of, the conversation went all over the place, kind of more about pen collecting than writing. Um, but I think if you look at his writing, I think you'll find it interesting, the way he writes. Um, he also has a YouTube channel of his own, which has maybe better examples because he was able to get the camera closer. But he has a very I describe his letter making and his writing as swashbuckling, because it does seem, like like he handles the pen like a sword, and um, just the sound of the nib that the nib makes on the paper and the way the lines are made, it's very um, virtuosic, I guess, and swashbuckling. It's not like a regular calligrapher whose um, strokes seem to have kind of a standardized speed to them. His, short, 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 it's very staccato. He'll make a capital letter and then make some smaller and then another thing. And so it's very interesting to watch how he writes, because it's like he's driving a sports car in a city where there are lots of stoplights he has to stop at. So, but he wants to go fast. So there's this fast acceleration, but he has to slam on the brakes at the stoplight. So there's this staccato stuff that's kind of fun. And I always feel a little bit frightened that the pen nib is going to break, but he's very cautious about, not pressing down too hard. But it does seem a little dangerous, I guess. To me, sounds a little dangerous. But that's what's so fun about how we all write so differently. Earlier yesterday, I think, was it yesterday? Yesterday, I spoke with Ritwij from India, and he's a poet, writer, and he uses a big fat Mont Blanc and writes real small with big fat letters, with a big fat nib. So he uses a lot of ink, and he loves seeing the wet ink on the paper, the pool of red wet ink reflected, the moonlight reflected, as he said, on the wet ink. Oh my God, this cat is just completely destroying this rug. Oh, get it. So he's very interesting in how he writes. I think staccato. You know, isn't that the word I mean? Um, you know, I think that's what it is. Well, um, Todd Merrill is a musician, so he um, understood the word and how it made sense to him. Todd is a very interesting character. His comments on my earlier YouTube before I was live, his comments were very lengthy and well thought out, and he would correct me quite often on historical facts regarding Penn years and dates, and the first name of Walter Schaefer. I was always saying William Schaefer. He said, I know you know it's Walter, which I guess I forgot. I knew that it was Walter. But his he also has many of the same interests in music as I have in terms of the Victrola era record player stuff from the 20s and 30s. And so we can kind of describe our pen uses and things like that. Um, um, so anyway, it's kind of neat how he and I talk about certain kinds of writing, I guess, and it's something that I have in a way he and I speak of pens. Um, Italian for detached, so yes, that capital, small letters, my capitals announce themselves, and the words sort of follow. Yeah, it is. It is, like your Melissa. Your letters are like the um, make way for ducklings. The capital letter is the big duck, and all the little letters are the lings that follow obediently behind, or not even obedient. They just follow. They don't know enough to make a decision. They just follow Mama Mallard, Mrs. Mallard. So um, I think with Todd Merrill, he does have this swooshy big thing, but then as he writes his other letters, the other word, the letters of the word, he can sort of do this staccato sort of swooshy stuff in between. So he doesn't really, I don't think he distinguishes as much as I do, or maybe as you do, between the first letter and the following letters. Anytime he has the ability to make a swoosh, I think he makes a swoosh. And he loves to cross his T's. He really likes a horizontal line. he he does like, which again reminds me of sword fights, where the thing is mainly pointing in that way rather than up and down. It's not going to help anyone. You do this kind of thing. So the horizontalness makes me think of a sword fight more than um, any other sort of play. It sounds like it stopped raining. There's occasionally a drip that falls from a tree branch here, I guess. So, Melissa, if you could email me or send me, text me, or whatever, sort of your standard, pretend you're not using the Skyline pen, and don't try to do calligraphy. Just write in your natural handwriting a couple of sentences. I'd like to see sort of what you do naturally. I think maybe some of your, your S and stuff that you're making that's sort of oddly shaped, I think maybe partly due to the fact that you're trying to make a beautiful S, and you get your brain is thinking, okay, now I have to press down, and then you go wayward. So, but maybe not. I know that you write more vertically, I think, than slanted. But there might be a way for me to look at what you write, how you write naturally, and say, okay, I think you might want to do this rather than that, whatever the this and that is. I often, when I try to teach, quote, teach penmanship, I try not to change a person's natural handwriting. But what I try to do is to teach them maybe how to make the natural handwriting a little more beautiful. Okay, well, just try a couple of lines in a pen that you have normally written with before you got these two pens, and the ones that you where the handwriting is least conscious. The Estabrook. Well, whatever, I'm just curious to see what your handwriting is when it's not, when you're not trying. The cat is crazy with that fish.
What?
The cat is crazy with that fish.
I know it. Is it all charged up?
No, but he just grabbed it, throws it in the air. So what's in your Schiavello? I don't know if you answered this question yet about the. You haven't yet. The vaccine in Australia. Are you up for getting a shot? Oh, good, good. Um, I'm glad to hear that. I haven't had any of mine yet, but I will as soon as I get back to Boston in a couple of days. Well, in 5 days, 6 days, whenever it is. 24, 6 days. Someone posted a book here that I think Friedrich might like. He hasn't seen it already. And also my friend Jonathan in Philadelphia, I think, would like it. It's about German handwriting. Wie fälsche fast in meiner Hand am besten? Which pen is right for you? Wie wählt man seinen Schreibfeder? So let me now go here to pictures, photos, all photos, select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Send, if this can send. No, it can't send. It can only send half of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Send. Mail. Frederick. Okay, why can't I get Deal FD? Is that his name? FD? No, that's not his name. Okay, why isn't this working? Fuck. I guess I'll send it to him via a text because I can't do it otherwise. There. Send him to Friedrich. So what's Schiavella? What's happening to Wyoming? Any headway there? No comment. Well, no comment, smiley face. I don't know what that means. I guess it means no comment. It's coming along. I'd love to see pictures if you want to send some to me. Tomorrow we're meeting with the person that's going to rebuild the basement. I have been putting off a job I have to do today for Harvard University. Yesterday I spent a couple of hours of my short life, the days remaining to me before I turn to dust, trying to find something on a fucking website. I finally called a human in Massachusetts and said, I've been trying to find this form that's required for me to re-enter the Commonwealth of Massachusetts from Minnesota, and I cannot find this form anywhere. Oh, you don't need the form. Well, it says it's required. Well, we changed the rules. Well, why don't you change the website? You know, press a fucking button, update. You know, 2 buttons you have to press. Maybe you have to press 3. But instead, it was 2 hours of me screaming at the computer, screaming at my phone, screaming to, I asked for a phone number, type in phone number, Massachusetts government, and it was for taxes, how I could pay my, that's not what I want. I want, who do I have to fuck to talk to someone? Not that getting fucked by me would be any carrot at the end of the stick for anyone to actually want, but you know what I mean. Um, it anyway, it drove me crazy. Fix the fucking website. Anyway, it's frustrating. You know, when I bought my airplane ticket to go back to Boston, I have a slight sneaking suspicion that I paid $70 more than I needed to for it. You know, I was on delta.com and trying to press, buy, proceed to checkout, and it wouldn't let me do it. So I went online and typed in Delta Airlines phone number or something, and on the list it said Delta Airlines talk to a live person, So I clicked on that, and it was a third party company that answers the phone for anyone that wants to buy an airplane ticket. So, but there's an actual person. And at some point, well, they said it's not doing that because the price is going up. And I said, well, why don't they fix it on their website? Well, they don't have time, whatever. So I ended up buying the ticket, paying the extra money, and again, it may have been a scam. Maybe I don't have a ticket. I have no idea. But it's, would I pay $10 right now to talk to a human? I think that should be an option. I want to pay a bill. Um, Kitty, um, Kitty, get the fish. Get the fish. Yeah, get that fish. Anyway, I once was trying to pay my T-Mobile bill, and I was in Philadelphia, and I got a message saying from my brother, texting me saying, can you pay your T-Mobile bill? It's due today, otherwise they'll cut us off. So I went, typed in T-Mobile phone number, pay bill, and I kept on getting these computer prompts, press in your code, your password or whatever. And I don't know my password. I don't know my brother's password. I was just trying to give them money. Thank you. I'm just trying to give them money. And, your password is changed. Click here to get a new password, or your password isn't right. Click here to. So I would click and I'd get an email and I would make a new password. Pay my fucking bill was the password I came up with. And, I made sure that, there was a capital letter and there was a number or something. Pay my fucking bill. And I got another message saying that password is already taken or something like that. So I made a new one. Who the fuck do I have to pay my fucking bill? That's my new password. I typed it twice. And I eventually, it again didn't work. That password is already taken. And I finally found a store in Philadelphia, and I walked in and I said, I don't understand it. You must have a really hard time. Why do you make it so difficult? I'm not the only person that came up with this password. Other people have the same problem that I'm having paying a bill. Oh, well, you're not the primary account holder. Well, say that in an email. Don't say password is wrong. Like, fucking difficult is it? So anyway, the hour that I wasted trying to pay a bill, if they just said, click here, pay $5 to talk to a human, I would do that. When I finally talked to a human, yesterday, I talked to two humans. One was not entirely able to help me, but gave me the correct phone number. All the guys are super cute. Sorry for eating in front of you. Yummy omelet. Beans and cheese and hot sauce and sour cream. And chicken in here. These were all super cute. I think you constitute as cute. It's a cute fellow. The cute is can be a slightly negative term. For example, if I thought I was handsome, and someone called me cute, I might take offense at that. If I thought I was cute and someone called me handsome, that might bother me. I'm not sure I'm either cute or handsome, but I am kind of charming. I will throw that in there. Cute sometimes, I think you have to be in some way small in stature, or I think there's something about small or youthful or sort of childlike to be cute. That was yummy. You haven't lost anything. It's just nice that we have a full range of opinions and stuff. Sexy. That sexy is a good term to describe. I think that's a more generic term because sexiness sort of implies this fits in what I think is sexy. It's more, in a way, it's more neutral. It doesn't come with what I think are what I would think are uh, prescribed ideas. Like handsome, sometimes handsome refers to a woman as well as a man. Normally, Kitty, get out of there. The cat is in the fireplace. Get out of there. Get out. But I think handsome is generally used for older people than younger people, where cute is more for younger, I think, than older. Yeah, broke your broke the mold that you were fitting yourself into. So someone commented about yesterday when I was showing people how different ways to make letters. Bob Anderson commented, best writing lesson ever. It's mind-boggling that you can rattle off 3 or 4 versions of a letter, each one more beautiful than anything I can come up with. Please make a video, a video someday where you work your way through the alphabet. Better still, write the alphabet on some old ledger paper and send it to me for $1 million plus postage. Well, it is interesting what love can do to one's mold. You know, I only like tall women, someone might say. And then here comes along a short woman that plucks every heartstring, and then you realize that this tall woman mold that you had was only skin deep, I guess. Thank you. My handwriting, I think I enjoy coming up with variations on mainly on capital letters. And I kind of am inspired by the idea of how would I turn this printed font, this printed typeface, into a cursive script one? And that's kind of an interesting little puzzle. And if I'm only doing a single capital letter, I can have a lot of fun with it. If I have to do an entire alphabet following that same rule, it's a lot harder. Because there are certain letters that you really can't fuck with without causing it to be illegible, like a O and an I can't be too fancy, otherwise they won't work. Yeah, well, that's what's interesting. So, Tasha, I have a question. It's on my mind. Mr. Perfect implies a gender of Mr.ness to it. I male in your mold. And the person who fell into your mold, Evie, is and or was planning on a switch. Is that switch still in the works, as it were? If I can ask that question, I don't know if I'm asking it in the right way, but it's curious to know. How that might go. And if I'm asking a question that's none of my business, you can tell me it's none of your business. Yes, and yes, it is. Yep, and yes, it is. So, okay. It's very interesting and fascinating to me, the do I want to say the word, the plastic quality, the moldable quality of, and the changeable quality. Plastic in the sense of moldable is what I mean. It's not a term that sounds good when you say it with your mouth, but the changeable and non cast in stone, I guess. And that's what's really fun about human sexuality, I guess, is that it is not cast in stone as some people believe it should be, or that it is. I didn't think you would mind them, Tasha, but Evie might not have the same openness. So, I mean, we all have our different levels of privacy, I guess. There was someone that posted on Facebook. He's a pen collector guy, and he let me see if I can find the actual post. And I thought it was kind of funny, the answers that he got. See if I can find it here. 12 hours ago. Okay, 19 hours ago. I'm getting close. I think this guy is slightly conservative. Okay, here's what he said. Show me a man that can leave his phone around his woman unlocked because he has nothing to hide. I'll wait. And I came up with a comment. Now I didn't read it as his woman, I read it a woman. So I commented that any woman can look at what I have on my phone. We may share the same taste in men. And most other people say, you know, my wife and I share the same phone. I don't have a password on my phone. So most of the people that follow him are not afraid of their woman finding well, there are a lot of significant couples, shall I say, that do share some things and don't want to share other things, which is how they work. And there's nothing wrong with that. If someone, again, relationships are so very different that they don't entirely have to be completely open with one another, in my humble opinion. But if that's the agreement, let's say I have a boyfriend and he and I both love each other and live with each other most of the time, but we like to play. and you play with your playmates and I play with my playmates, and that doesn't mean that we don't love each other. It just means we like to play. Schiavello would never do it. Yeah, it's just it's very curious. You know, there's we can't we can certainly trust people wholeheartedly, but we can never really know people entirely, I don't think. And there might be something that might change with the person. I suppose anyone in any sort of relationship could bump into anyone else that they've never met before and suddenly fall in head over heels in love with that new person. And there's nothing, you can't stop it from happening. You can stop doing something about it, but you really can't stop it from happening because it's already happened. Um, and it's just, we're very weird species. Anyway, Tasha, I think it's really great to fall in love with your best friend. You're up to school?
Not yet. Soon.
Okay. Well, private conversations are on phones. And um, a picture that might be worth 1,000 words might be on your phone. So it's um, that's what might be on the phone. Private conversations, let's say. Just call it private conversations. Yeah, I do think it's important to respect people's privacy, even if it is your partner. I had a few years ago a stalker that broke into my emails and my apps and my everything, not my bank account, but everything else. And the feeling of well, the feeling of all sorts of things came up in my bubbling up. I had trusted this person, and so much for that. That went out the window. And um, he had a very vivid imagination and assumed every phone call I made, every email he read things into business emails that I had that he decided that I was having affairs with every single person I emailed more than once, almost, seemed to be. And first of all, if it were true, what business is it of his? And it wasn't true. And if I didn't tell him every single detail that he wanted to hear, he would threaten to call my father, who was living at the time. And he did call my father and started. Anyway, it was awful, 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 awful. I love Friedrich. Yes. Was it good for you? Did the earth move? You know, we're a crazy species. As I said, it would be easier if every man had 3 sets of junk, and when one set of junk got excited, then you knew what that was for. This is for making more Gustafsons. This is for having fun. And this is for my soulmate lover. And every once in a while, maybe all 3 of them can work in one person. But more likely than that, they don't. But if you get to be my age, they just don't work at all, regardless of the stimulation. And it's actually quite refreshing. Well, when you stand up, things might switch around. Should I make some more letters? Or why don't I start a new stream and I'll move over to my other place and I can make more alphabet things, variations. How does that sound? And I can plug in my various devices too. things going here. I'm going to use my iPad rather than a piece of paper. Just because. So, you guys, I'll be back in a few minutes. Yeah. Okay.